Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports, and it's our weekly Red Wings breakdown. They have done nothing but one score gains for the whole entire week. They lost 3-2 to the Boston in overtime. Lost 2-1 to the Senators off a last-minute goal in regulation. Lost 2-1 to the Avalanche. Were very close to tying it, and then beat the Sabres last night 6-5 in a shootout. Costa getting his first career win, and I'm sure he'll get to start Thursday against Philadelphia. But I mean, you're at least showing that you have fight. But I mean, you keep on losing these close games.
Right. Like I said, they've been more fun to watch during this losing stretch than they were in the early part of the season. They've actually shown some spunk, and they're all like one game. They just can't get any luck. They can't put the puck in the net. Other than last night, they broke their 6-game losing streak, and continued Buffalo's 6-game losing streak. So, and they came back to do it behind Kosa. I'm not saying Kosa played fantastic, but he was solid. You couldn't really, blame him for the first goal that he gave up. And the second goal was something that, you're hoping eventually those are the goals that you hope he stops, because that would have been a great save. The first one he had no chance on. And then he shut the door in the third period. And in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
He was a better goaltender. So I don't really care really. I'm at the point now where he's 22. Um I want to see him more. I want to see him push to be the starter.
I know he won't be up this year, but next year he should be.
Him and Talbot. He should be.
He
Oh,
should be up
he
next year.
should be. People are talking. Everybody on the radio. Everybody wants to see him. Everybody wants this general. We want to see what, because they're not making the playoffs. I don't think this year, unless something miracle happens and they turn it around in the next few months. I just don't see that. They're not playing like a playoff team.
I mean, they're only 3 points back of a playoff
They are,
spot,
because the East sucks in the bottom part of it. But
but for the most part, actually not 3 point. You're 4 points out of a playoff spot. Well, no, 3 point. You are 3 points
which
out,
isn't anything
which
in
isn't
December.
anything. So, I mean, you have time. You still have time to turn it around. But
Well, we didn't think they'd be a playoff team last year at this time either, and they turned it around and came within a half point of making it. That was the thing. It's kind of like, I wish they could have done something. Like I said, last year, 91 points got them in, got Washington in, but they, now this year it's probably going, maybe even less, would get them in. But I just want to see this team compete. I want to see it be an entertaining product, because it hasn't been up until Patrick Hagen got hurt.
yeah,
The more I watch him, he is a liability out there right now.
he's old.
I don't know if he can change. It might not be his fault. It just might be the way it is. But those are the decisions Lalonde's got to make, and Yzerman has to make. Do you want this team to win? Are we going to just flutter, and because Patrick Kane isn't the same Patrick Kane anymore? You got to make some tough choices and sit people. And I'd sit Patrick Kane. He wouldn't see on the power play. He's still kind of effective. He still has the hands, but man, he looks like he's just
He's old.
slow.
He is
not
old.
Physical, a huge defensive liability out there, and he isn't offering much offense either. So I mean, it's not his fault. Like you said, the age catches up, injuries catch up to you. It's just being human. But that's what Lalonde's for. That's the decision they got to make.
Well, looking at it, right, you only got 2 games by the time we talk about them next week. This week, you're playing the Flyers, who are ahead of you in the playoff race, and then the Maple Leafs. So you're away at Philadelphia, home against the Maple Leafs on Saturday. So I mean, you should split this week as long as you're playing well still, but we'll see what ends up happening. Flyers are 12-12-4. So one better than you, basically, in a win total. And Maple Leafs are 16-9-2. They got one of the hotter goaltenders in the league right now, so I don't know how well that game's going to go. But overall, you have an opportunity again to slowly catch up, do what you have to do, because this month isn't supposed to be the most difficult month for you.
Right. I'm not worried about opponents anymore. because they seem to play well against good teams. So I'm not really worried about that as much as I'm worried about just being consistent and going out there every night and playing your asses off and getting a lineup in there that's going to consistently, get us 3, 4, 5 goals a game.
That's what you need. You need
Because
4
if we
goals a
could
game to
get that,
win.
we would be, probably 5 games above 500 right now.
Your offense just hasn't shown up this year, which is a
At
weird
all.
thing. Which is weird because you had a great offense last year.
And I think you got offensive players this year, so I don't get it.
And the distinct in goals, because you go from having a player with 11. So you got DeBrincat, Larkin, and Raymond are leading the team with around 12 goals. Raymond has 11. Kopp has shown up this year a little bit with 7 goals.
I was old because I thought he caught him last night. I thought he got 12. He's 12. But
Probably got it's ESPN. They're never on par with what they're doing. Kopp has 7 goals.
I think Kopp has played well.
Tarasenko then drops to Tarasenko with 4, Rasmussen with 4, Bergman with 4. Then your defenseman.
Tarasenko really hasn't fit in yet. He isn't bad, but he hasn't really been the player we wanted him to be yet.
But and I mean, when you talk about Kane has not matched his total from last year, where
how many goals he got?
He has 3 goals and 7 assists, which equals to 10 points. Last year, he was averaging a point a game. I said if he could do that again this year, I'd be happy. But I didn't think it would be that far off from what he was doing last year that would happen this year. Kasper is playing just as good as Kane. Right. 2 goals, 5 assists.
With more energy, more physicality. He's
Patrick Kane is a -6 on the year. I don't know if there's anybody. Hold on, I'm going to check if there's anyone with a positive number. Evanson is the only one with a really good. Evanson and Seider are the only ones who have a really good plus-minus.
What?
Everybody else everyone else on the team either is 1, 0 because he's not on the team anymore, or negative.
Well, the season is not lost yet. It's there. It's just whether or not. And to me, honestly, I don't think it matters much. I just want to see people get opportunities if they deserve them. And you know what? If Patrick Kane comes back and he finds a way to find his game, great. But it's not. Hell, bring up Danielson. I want to see Kosa and Talbot. That should be your tandem.
That would be your probably tandem next year.
That should be your tandem this year.
But it won't be.
It should be. Why not?
Because you're paying other people.
Who cares? You got to pay them anyways.
So they'll be your tandem next year. But
it's just bullshit. It's bullshit. They're not giving the fans what they want, and I wouldn't care if you don't do shit like that. I hope LCA is empty because they're not worth the money to go down there. If they're not going to do what needs to be done to win games and bring up the best players.
Well, it's not goaltending, it's offense.
Yeah, but Kosa is better than Husso. He is better than the other guy they got.
It's also retention. If you pull him up too early, it's retention for the future.
How early is early? How old does the guy got to be before you pull him up? 34? Is he supposed to play down there forever? What is too old? 22 sounds old to me.
It's holding on to contracts. That's all
if you haven't made the NHL by the time you're 23, 24 years old, you're not going to make the NHL.
So you'll be on the team next year with Talbot, and
that's just
he will for sure be up next year. Is what I think. But again, looking forward to the week. Flyers and Maple Leafs are your opponents. I expect probably a 1-1 week if they can at least win a game this week before we get to them next week.
Not with Billy Husso on goal, you're not going to.
No, not with Husso. But yeah, that's what happens when you deal with injuries.
And he hasn't really played bad. I shouldn't say that. Because you know what? It's been more like we've been saying. Everybody knows
it's 1-goal games. It's been 1-goal game. 2-1, 2-1, 3-2, 5-4.
The goaltending hasn't been really the problem.
That was the game he got. That Talbot got hurt was the Vancouver game where it was 5-4. But 3-2, 2-1, 2-1, 6-5.
When is Talbot back?
They're both considered day to day. So I don't know when they both are technically considered to come back from injury. Talbot says December 12th. Everyone else, both goalies say December 12th. Lions on IR. Everyone else is kind of day to day if they're playing or not. But I mean, it's just something you gotta take it by stride. You have one of the worst penalty kills at a 67%, but one of the best power plays at a 25%. So I don't know what to even think of. We have 67%, almost.
Just like I said, lately they've been more fun to watch. That Buffalo game was a lot of fun to watch. They just seem to be more energized. Patrick Kane excluded in that because he never seems energized anymore. But let's see what happens.
Yep.
I mean, I can't. I want this team to do well. But Chris Illich owns both this team and the Tigers, and we're both have the same problems according to people. It's just
you're saying he's not spending money, but you're at cap.
Money.
You're at cap.
But Red
the
Wings
Wings are at cap,
yeah.
so you can't say he's not spending money. We are at cap.
Right.
It's just your contracts might be in the wrong spot. You got to wait for Cop to fall off. Comfer hasn't necessarily done what he has needed to this year. So it's just when money opens up again, obviously we'll go after other players. We have our money sucked up with certain people right now. But we'll see what ends up happening. With that being said, though, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, right? Let me know what you think is going to happen this week between the Flyers and Maple Leafs. Until next time, hope to see everybody soon.